1917, Orange, New Jersey. Young women are hired to paint watch dials with a special paint that glows in the dark. The glow comes from radium. Their supervisors tell them the radium is harmless. They are told to lick the tips of their paintbrushes to get a fine point. They do it dozens of times a day. They take the paint home on their skin. They paint their nails with it for fun. They paint their teeth so their smiles glow in the dark at night. By the early 1920s, they are dying. Their jawbones crumble, their teeth fall out, their spines collapse, holes form in their bones as if eaten from inside. And when they try to sue the company that told them the radium was harmless, the company destroys evidence, falsifies medical reports, and hires doctors to say the women are dying of syphilis. They are dying of radium. The company knows it, and they cannot let that become public. The United States Radium Corporation, previously called the Radium Luminous Materials Corporation, operated dial painting factories in New Jersey and Illinois during and after World War I. Their product, luminous paint made from radium, used to paint the dials of watches and military instruments so soldiers could read them in the dark. The dial painters were almost all young women, many in their teens. The work paid well by the standards of the era. The factories were seen as clean, modern, respectable workplaces. The supervisors knew radium was radioactive. Company scientists, when they worked with radium, used lead shields and tongs. They never touched it with their hands. The women who painted dials were told to use the lip-pointing technique, putting the brush to their lips to bring it to a fine point. This introduced radium directly into their bodies with every stroke. The deaths begin. By 1919, women from the factory began dying. Their symptoms were unlike anything doctors had seen: extreme dental pain, teeth falling out, jawbones crumbling and developing necrosis, dead bone tissue. Some women's entire lower jaws had to be surgically removed. Bones in their spines collapsed. Their hips fractured spontaneously. They developed cancers in their bones. The company's response was systematic denial and obstruction. They hired Dr. Frederick Flynn, a toxicologist with connections to the company, to examine sick workers. He told them they were fine. He told them their symptoms were not work-related. When workers pressed for independent medical examination, company lawyers had them sign documents giving the company rights to their medical records. Those records were then suppressed. The company's own physician, Dr. Buries, filed a report in 1924 noting that several women had died of what appeared to be radium poisoning. The report was buried. The fight. In 1927, 5 women from the New Jersey factory, Grace Fryer, Edna Hussman, Quinta McDonald, Albina Laris, and Catherine Schaub, filed suit against the U.S. Radium Corporation. They became known in the press as the Radium Girls. By the time the case was scheduled for trial, the 5 women were severely ill. Some could barely walk. Grace Fryer wore a back brace. They persisted. The company offered a settlement, $10,000 to each woman plus $600 annually for medical expenses. It was a deliberately inadequate offer. They wanted the case gone quietly. The women refused. Their lawyer, Raymond Berry, documented the deliberate suppression of evidence and the falsified medical reports. The company's own internal records showed they knew radium was poisoning their workers years before they acknowledged it publicly. The case settled in 1928 under terms more favorable to the women than the initial offer, but still modest. Some of the women who filed the suit did not live long enough to receive their payments. The legacy. The Radium Girls case was one of the first in American legal history to establish that employers could be held liable for workplace exposure to hazardous materials. It became a foundational case in occupational safety law and contributed directly to the creation of what became the Occupational Safety and Health Administration. The women who died were in their 20s and 30s. They had been told explicitly by their supervisors and company doctors that the radium was safe, that it would put roses in their cheeks. It put holes in their bones. Several of the Radium girls are buried in cemeteries in New Jersey and Illinois. Their bodies still emit measurable levels of radiation today. They were told to lick the brush dozens of times a day for years. The company knew. Their own doctors told them, and they buried the reports, falsified the diagnoses, and let the women keep dying. The women fought back. Sick in back braces with their jaws falling off, they went to court. And they changed the law. Subscribe to WhisprFrame. The Radium Girls case is one of the most important and most enraging true stories I know.